Let's use the code. You go with this.
I think if the other page would be better. Okay. The other page.
Are you sure? So we are going to face it, all of us.
Yeah.
No, it's up here.
Boss, wait. Give me a second. Hello. Fanda. If you are done, you move. You move. Tembera. You move. Yeah. You're moving.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in our hearts, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. We shall overcome someday. Museveni will die. Museveni will die. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe Museveni will die someday.
This is a portable, it's not yet a portable.
For A1 and A2, that is Dr. Kizza Besigye Hajji Obedi, LUTALE. My learned friend with whom we have instructions, Samuel Ronald Wanda. We await guidance of court on the next. Or good silence. I'm sorry, one more, Your Worship. I'm sorry. Or good silence. We are ready for guidance.
These are the charges brought against each of you. M1, retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye, adult Ugandan, the retired UPDF officer, aged 67 years, resident of Kasanga, the town council, Nangabo sub-county, Nansana Municipality in Wakiso District. A2, Hajji Obedi LUTALE, a main adult Uganda, aged 65 years, a resident of Mutungu Parish, marked in the Sabagabo sub-county, Kusiro County in Wakiso District. And A3, who is RO 12743, Captain DENIS Olla, a male adult Ugandan, aged 48 years old, a UPDF officer attached to Armored Brigade. The statement of the offense is treason contrary to section 23(1) C of the Penal Code Act, Cap 128. The particulars of the offense are that Colonel retired Dr. Kizza Besigye Hajji Obedi LUTALE and Captain DENIS Olla and others still at large between the year of 2023 and November 2024 at various places or construct countries, including Geneva in Switzerland, Athens in Greece, Nairobi in Kenya, Kampala in Uganda, contrived the plot, act or matter by force of arms to overturn the government of Uganda as by law established and expressed or declared such plot as by law established and expressed or declared such plot, act or matter by utterances and overt acts. The particulars of the overt acts are that A, traveling to various countries, including Switzerland, Greece, Kenya, for purposes of attending meetings or further the plot to overturn the government of Uganda as by law established. B, attending meetings with various individuals, both physically and virtually in various places, including Geneva in Switzerland, Athens in Greece, Nairobi in Kenya, and Kampala in Uganda, in furtherance of the plot to overturn the government of Uganda as by law established. C, utterances to various individuals during meetings and privately expressing desire and intent to overturn the government of Uganda as by law established. D, providing logistical support and organizing for several Ugandan citizens to travel to Kisumu, Kenya for the purpose of receiving training in various military and intelligence gathering techniques. And E, soliciting for military, financial, and other logistical support to overturn the government of Uganda as by law established. The alternate charge is statement of the offense in the alternate charge is misprision of treason contrary to section 25 of the Penal Code Act, Cap 128. The particulars of the offense are that Colonel retired Dr. Kizza Besigye Hajji Obedi LUTALE and Captain DENIS Olla and others still at large between the years of 2023 and November 2024 at various places, including Geneva in Switzerland, Athens in Greece, Nairobi in Kenya, Kampala in Uganda, knowing that another person intended to commit treason, did not give information thereof with all reasonable dispatch to the minister, an administrative officer, a magistrate, or an officer in charge of a police station, or use all reasonable endeavors to prevent the commission of treason. Now, this being capital matters, my duty was simply to read you the charges. You need not plead. You will only plead at High Court when you have been committed.
Your Worship, perhaps we should find out from the accused persons if they have heard and understood what the charges read to them. And then I'll address you on how we intend to proceed with the matter.
Have you understood the charges that have been read to you?
Yes.
Then you each have need to plead. We'll do that by court.
The investigations in this matter are not yet complete. The investigations in the matter are not yet complete, Your Worship, and so our committal papers are not yet ready as of today, and so we will pray for an adjournment for another day for mention.
Issues to raise regarding the trial rights of the accused persons. One, the issue of their arrest. The issue regarding their arrest. Your Worship, we are concerned with the heavy military presence in this court. Because the military has no powers of arrest. Not have powers to produce any suspect before consult here. Now we see the dog here. If my understanding of the ranks in the army is proper, is a captain. Those pips, I think it's a captain, those pips indicate that the gentleman here standing next to my clients is a captain. And you can see the dog here again is also guarded by UPDF, MP military police. Your Worship, this is a very serious matter. Treason is a charge which can be preferred before this honorable court and triable by the High Court. And all those processes can only be handled by the police force in presenting them before you. And if you remand them, it's the prison's authorities. So we seek for orders in regards to the management of the accused persons, Your Worship, in accordance with the law, to direct the military distance themselves from this matter. And if it pleases you, Your Worship, with your powers and the might you have, you give them marching orders out of these premises. We do pray, Your Worship, so that we deal with a situation that is conducive for dispensation of justice without any fear or apprehension, so that they get out of this place. We remain with the police and the prison authorities. They are enough to manage the situation. That is one. Two, Your Worship, the issue of the health status of A1, Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye, as you can see, was brought here in a wheelchair, Your Worship. And he has been incarcerated since mid-November. We are now in February. As far as pre-trial rights are concerned, Your Worship, it's our prayer that this honorable court intervenes and makes orders that he be accorded the necessary facilities to be evacuated to a medical facility that can manage his health. This prayer, your worship, is grounded on Article 23 of the Constitution, Clause 5, where a person is restricted or detained, that person shall be allowed to access medical treatment, including, at the request of the cost of that person, access to private medical treatment. That person shall be allowed access to medical treatment, including, at the request and at the cost of that person, access to private medical treatment. Your worship, the applicant is ready to meet the costs. I was making an undertaking on his behalf, your worship, that he's ready to meet the costs of the treatment. The only prayer we are making is for his evacuation to a medical facility that can examine him thoroughly and then accord him urgent attention, which is specialized in nature, because as of now, Luzira prisons where he is being detained has no equipment, has no facilities to do specialized examination to understand the nature of the health challenge and be able to attend to the same. Your worship, as I conclude on this, the right to life is paramount. I need not to emphasize this. And I'm sure the state would want also to prosecute him when he's in good standing as far as health is concerned. And for the record, your worship, your sister magistrate at Uganda Road had to stay some proceedings on account of his failing health for 60 days and said he could not stand the trial. And that was yesterday. The proceedings were stayed for 60 days to enable him stabilize. And even when he appeared in the High Court on Wednesday before Justice Singiza for an application for habeas corpus, it was the same story. His lordship directed that he should be taken back to Luzira for further management and see how they can stabilize his health. But at that time, you could at least walk to court. Now, the situation has deteriorated further. He's now in a wheelchair. On Wednesday, he walked with the support by the prison's warders to court, to High Court. Yesterday, he could not be produced before magistrate court because of poor health. Now, today he's in a wheelchair. I'm sure, Your Worship, you wouldn't want to see the next phase, which could be a coffin. I'm sure the state wouldn't want also that situation to happen. That the next phase now would be a coffin. So it's the reason we are praying, and I hope my land friend on their on the other side would not object to this, that you be pleased, Your Worship, to order that he be evacuated to a facility that has got enough equipment to examine his health. We do so, pray, Your Worship.
Your Worship, I have just a short response. Your Worship, my learned friend and senior, the Lord Mayor, and indeed I think all of us in this court understand the peculiar circumstance of this case. Initially, we're all aware all the accused persons appeared in the General Court Martial. And it was only after the decision of the Supreme Court that the Director of Public Prosecutions assumed jurisdiction over this matter. And so all the accused persons, Your Worship, yesterday we applied for a production warrant to produce them from prison. And that is because they had been remanded there by the General Court Martial. And Your Worship, while A1 and A2, who were civilians, we are remanded into a civilian prison, which is Luzira. A3, who is a military officer, was remanded to, I think, the McKinley military detention facility. And therefore, there was no way he could be placed in civilian hands before the proceedings of today. And certainly, after today, he is going to be remanded on the orders and under the remand of this court. And I can assure my colleagues from the other side that the prisons authorities will then be in full control. And so that should not worry them. On the second issue regarding the health status of A1, I understand the submissions from my learned senior, and I associate myself with his citation of the constitutional provision granting the accused person a right to access medical care, treatment, even at his own cost in a private facility during his detention. My only concern is about the request that the court orders that the accused person, A1, gets treatment from a private, be evacuated to a private facility. Your Worship, what you've had are just statements by my learned friend. They're statements from counsel, from the bar. I believe for you to be guided, for this court to be guided, to make a compelling order in that direction, you would need to be guided by evidence. You need to make an inquiry as to the ailment. You need to make an inquiry as to whether prisons is indeed incapable of handling. You need to be guided whether this request has been made to the prison authorities and the prison authorities refused to hit to it. We have not heard from the prison authorities to this morning. And so, Your Worship, it would be, in my view, premature for you to make an order like that. However, counsel and the accused person, particularly A1, can request the prison authorities, the law is there, to obtain medical evidence from a private facility. It is only upon that, if there is evidence that there is a refusal, and then maybe the defense of the accused person can then apply or appeal to this court for this court to stretch a hand. And that order, Your Worship, can only be made after hearing all the parties on the evidence. But right now, what we have are statements we're making from the bar, and I am not, in my view, you do not have sufficient material before you to make an order like that. And so I would respectfully that this court does not make that order. I also pray, Your Worship.
Just a brief reply. I mean, rejoinder, Your Worship. I'm really disturbed by the way the state is treating this matter, rather with the very insensitive attitude. They are very insensitive. Your Worship, I was clear in my submissions that his condition requires specialized examination, which can only be attained from a facility with better equipment. Now, how is it going to be done under the confines of Ruzira prisons? That you act on evidence, not statements from the bar. Which kind of evidence one would expect? And with the state in which the accused person has been brought here, Your Worship, is it a normal practice in the court that accused persons are wheeled into the dock? If I may ask, is it a normal practice for the accused person to be wheeled into the dock when they are not suffering from any disability? For the record, he's not having any disability, but he's just sick. It's the reason he's in the wheelchair. And that wheelchair, Your Worship, was not provided by ourselves, his lawyers, or his kith and kin, but the prison's authorities themselves. They understood the situation and said, no, the accused person could not walk himself here. He could only be brought here in a wheelchair. And I thought the statement I made would move them, would touch their hearts. That they want him next in the casket, to say casket. I thought that would be enough to move our colleagues to say, okay, let's get a solution to this. So anyway, Your Worship, we're entirely in your hands. And the life of Dr. Kizza Besigye is entirely now in your hands. That's all we can say at this material time, because today is a Friday. Obviously, they are going to be remanded and to send him back in a wheelchair back, Your Worship. Honestly speaking, can an accused person who has been brought in a wheelchair be sent back on remand? Can this honorable court remand a person who is in a wheelchair? It's the reason we are saying from here, be taken to a medical facility. They will guard him from there. We go to a medical hospital, they can guard him from there. Just like they are guarding him from here. Once he stabilizes, then we pursue other processes. We have made enough case, Your Worship. And we pray that you be pleased to invoke your prerogative of powers, your discretionary powers, to offer him a remedy that he deserves. In accordance with Article 23, Clause 5. We do so pray.
I have heard from both the prosecution and the defense on the issue of military personnel presence in court. The state has explained the circumstances under which there is presence of some of them, to which they have come while producing A3, who is a serving military officer and has been in their custody. So it was only imperative for them to produce him to court after receiving a production warrant from court. Now that the file is within this court's jurisdiction, A3 shall forthwith be remanded to Luzira Upper Prison. With regard to the prayers for personalized medical examination and treatment of A1, I am constrained to make such an order as my only jurisdiction in this matter, which is a capital offense, is to communicate the charge to the accused persons, and when investigations are done, then commit each of them to High Court for trial. Since A1 is represented, is advised to seek for a remedy from the appropriate court, which is the High Court. But for now, all the accused persons are remanded to Luzira Upper Prison, and the matter is adjourned for mention to the 7th of March, 2025.
Your Worship, we are just seeking for a favor. Just a favor, Your Worship. We had prepared the formal bail application file, and since the accused person is here, the two accused persons, so that they can sign from here, because accessing them in Luzira is problematic. We have our commissioner for oath. If that could be done, Your Worship, we have the commissioner here who is ready to commission the papers, then we proceed with the application.
Yeah, I think that's okay. That's granted.
Most obliged, Your Worship.
Besigye will not die alone. Let me tell you.
Can we have people stop here? Stop here.
Enough, okay? That's enough. Thank you. Enough, thank you. Okay?
Nyakailima yafa, kazini yafa, kawesa yafa, agenda kufa. Omala musajja atachio. Abera muwozi agenda kufa. Uyo magenda kufa. Teja mwanga fuza alibana ngafudo kusukuno. Mwanga folumbe. Anya kume njebe. Ani akumsawo entebe. Ani akumekenya ku border. Emundu egisawa. Obufere.
At least after the 31st of January, when the Supreme Court pronounced itself on the matter, they should have done it within 48 hours in accordance with the Constitution. Why did they have to wait this long, violate Dr. Besigye Obedi LUTALE's rights, to keep them under illegal detention for over 2 weeks, now almost 3 weeks. 3 weeks of illegal detention. It's an absurdity, it's a travesty, and we condemn that conduct in the strongest terms possible. But now going forward, yes, we have processed the bail application. Unfortunately, again, the prisons authorities have defied the directive of court to allow us. They have defied the instruction of court to permit us the opportunity of having these papers signed by Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye Obedi from here, because we had come with our commissioner for oath. We have our bail application prepared, and the stamp for the commissioner for oath is here. The commissioner for oath is around. So we can prepare for all that to expedite the processes of filing the application so that we can secure the liberty of Dr. Besigye to be able to get medical treatment. Unfortunately, the prisons authorities have remained stubborn and adamant. They have refused. So we have no choice but to take these papers to Luzira. Right now we are proceeding there to cause the signing of the affidavit, which is supporting the application for bail. And we hope, again, when we reach there, they will not put in place other onerous conditions or stumbling block in our way. So that's what we are going to do. Secondly, we are again disappointed with the way the magistrate has treated the issue of Dr. Besigye's health. He's in a wheelchair. And it's not a normal practice in courts of law that suspects are wheeled into the dock. We made that very, very clear to her. Unfortunately, no remedy has been offered. We have highlighted the history of this matter. Wednesday, he walked himself into the chambers of justice Singiza, though with support. Of course, he had support from the prisons authorities. Yesterday, he could not be brought to court at Uganda Road, and the magistrate was constrained to stay the proceedings for 60 days on that account that doctor was too ill to stand trial. Today he's brought in a wheelchair, and we have asked, do they want to see him in a coffin tomorrow? And the Constitution grants all these rights. Look at Article 23. Article 23 is very, very clear. An accused person who is in detention has got a right to get medical treatment from a private facility at their own expense. And Dr. Besigye was ready to meet the costs. What is the fuss about keeping him there without according him this right to access medical treatment from a facility of his choice? And we advised they could guard him from there. Unfortunately, again, there was no intervention made. So we are just going to expedite the processes of bail going forward, and the application we have to file it in the course of today. So we are dashing now to Luzira to cause the signing of the affidavits. Then we come back and file the application in the High Court so that we can get an earlier date for the disposal of the same. The final one is that we want to announce officially that Dr. Besigye today has called off a hunger strike. Now that he has been arraigned formally before this court, because all along he was protesting illegal detention, being on remand without a valid or lawful remand order of court, remand warrant. Now that he has been formally arraigned and a remand warrant issued, and we are pursuing the bail process, he is calling off the hunger strike. And then we proceed with a bail application for purposes of securing his liberty and to get medical treatment. That's what we are doing. So katulube nyamivu nti state all along ebadde zeerimba nti bali mu nteekateeka za kuleeta fayiro eza general court martial mu kooti mu kyekibalwisizza bulijjo era ne bagamba abo balwawo n'okuextractinga decree sigaba extractinga decree twali badde twaleeta dda files kooti yalagira simanya supreme court yalagira fayiro bazireete kati ne bagamba simanya DPP awandiikidde ababa bazirina zonna mu general court martial bazireete kati ne bagamba court files ezavudde mu general court martial ziri ewa DPP tutuuse wano olwaleero bibakalidde ku matama tewali court file yavudde mu general court martial tewali lupapula na lumu tewaliwo nti charge sheet yavudde mu general court martial oba kantu konna tulina just charge sheet yokka yasayiningiddwa lunaku lwajjo state attorney we NAKAWA ne magistrate ate ng'eyogera ku misango mirala treason eri emakindye tewaliyo treason mu general court martial bali boogera ku bintu treachery, compromising security, being in the possession of firearms. Muno tebirimu Dr. bamusanga ne pistol n'amasasi ate ebyo byali mu general court martial semisango gyo no court martial egyo gifudde bagisi tebakulimba tebakoze transfer emisango egibadde mu general court martial gye baleeseno mulabyemu ekya being in possession of firearms illegal tekirimu mulabyemu omusango gwa treachery tekulimu mulabyemu omusango gwa compromising security tebirimu baleese treason ate nga treason yali teyaliyo kaka tubagamba mu kifo ky'okudda mu katembo gwe babaddemu ebbanga lyonna lwaki ekyo si kye baakola ng'ennaku z'omwezi 31 Supreme Court bwe yafulumya judgment yaayo kubanga balina essaawa 48 okusinziira ku article ya 23 eya ssemateeka okuggulawo emisango emipya gye baali balina kuba buli musango mpya gwe baguddewo lwaki ekyo si kye baakola lubereberye ne batabonyabonya dokita kutuuka wano kitubabuuza lwaki batreatinga ng'abasiru ne bafuulinga ensi yonna tuli bali mu process ya transfer twagenze wa justice ngiza ne bagamba omanyi files nyingi ziri voluminous process mpanvu kati process kyebaddawo eyo preferringa charge empya so lwaki bafuulanga eggwanga lino ery'abantu nti tebategeera ne batufuulanga abasiru so ekyo kitunyizizza nnyo ne sekunyiriza yenna era tukivumirira ne sekuvumirira yenna kakati ekirala ekitulumye kwe kuba nti omulambulamu gwa Dr. Besigye tumusabye ntungamba bwolaba embeera dokita gyalimu egenda yeeyongera ku bambi ku lwokusatu bwe bamuleetera wa justice Ngiza yali ajja atambula naye nga bamukwatiridde jjo bwe twabadde wa justice wa worship Nancha ku Buganda Road baganye n'omuleeta ne bagamba ndowooza embeera tesobola na kuyimirira era justice worship Nancha n'agamba nti proceedings aziyimiriza okumala ennaku 6 kubanga wabirwa Kizza Besigye mulwadde nnyo tasobola na kuyimirira mu kaguli kugenda mu maaso na misango ewa justice Ngiza yalagira nti mumuse masegundi tangwira kuwano tamfaintingira kuwano ne mu kooti yange kakati olwaleero ajjidde mu wheelchair nga abamusindika be ba prisons warders tubabuuza ekiddako mwagala mulaba nga ali mu kofini nga ali mu kesi nga akkirira lwakabengo ku muziika kye baagala ne tubasaba ekintu kitono nnyo ekiri mu ssemateeka pre-trial rights njagala okubategeeza ekintu kino zikolebwako magistrate courts era kyekiteekesaawo lwaki puli bagireeta magistrate court bino ebisookerwako abyahandling eri bwe bamaliriza investigation nga file eri set nga batwala mu high court for hearing kati ne magistrate anagambye talina buyinza ku pre-trial rights okuodalinga ekintu ekitono ennyo nti bamutwale mu ddwaliro akeberebwa ajjanjabibwe ssemateeka mu nnyingo eya 23 akawaayirako okutaano akirambika bulungi ti omuntu yenna aggaliddwa mu kkomera waddembe okusaba ne bamutwala mu ddwaliro yenna ly'aba ayagadde nga naye yeesasulidde kakati ffe tubagambye dokita ali mwetefutefu okwesasulira ne bagaana ne bagamba bamuzzeeyo kakati n'ekirala twazze ffe ne bail application yaffe nga twetezitezi kuba tukikoze mangu very fast nga tugitwala mu high court ne tusaba omulamuzi ne tumugamba nti kale tukkirize tulina commissioner for oath wano tulina empapula zaffe dokita asayininge n'Obedi bwe bamala okusayininga commissioninge katusinga tumaze n'okufayiringa nga tusaba hearing date aba prisons nabo beefudde bamawale ne bagamba temujja kubisayiningirawo wano bwe muba mwagala mujje eruzira ng'ate omulamuzi ye amaze okutuukiriza kakati eggwanga lyabakiwagi buli omu waali yeefudde mawale buli omu waali yeefudde ki kakati kyetusazeewo netugamba ok fine ffe kyetwagala ddembe lya Dr. Besigye n'Obedi nga tugenda kukkirira eruzira empapula bazisayiningire eyo malozi commissioninga ne justice of peace eruzira then tukome wano tufayiringe olwaleero tulabe nti tufuna date eya okuwulira bail application era Dr. alangiridde officially Dr. Besigye alangiridde officially nti hunger strike obo kyeyateekawo ekyo gaa nti tagenda kubaako kaalya olwokubanga awakanya okumukuumira eruzira nga tewali biragiro bya kooti byonna olwaleero kiyimiriziddwa kubanga kale aleeteddwa mu kooti ne charges ne bazimuteekako kati tugenda kulwanagana na mbeera ya kufuna bail naye nga agenda kuddamu kutandika era lwaleero tugenda kumutwalira ebyokulya eruzira
Katumba soko tuwe ku ddoboozi lye wano ku nsonga eriwo
munnange ekiriwo ekisooka tubaddeeyo nera mbadde mu byange naye ngenza okulaba bamusuddewo obusuuzi nga tetumwetegekedde naye ne bamusuulawo naye ensonga enkulu twetaaga amateeka gakole mu ggwanga lyaffe omusango gwe bamutaddeko nabo balaba teguliyo ekisooka n'omusajja mumulaba ayebyeyebye mumute mwami Museveni to omusajja muhoozi muto omusajja akaddiye omusajja obulamu bugenderedde mumute tumanyi nti kiki naye omusajja mumuto omusajja akaddiye ayebyeyebye nera kyendi okusaba omulanga gwange gwonna gwe ndi obbasaba mwami Museveni tabeesigye mute musoose mutwala wuyo mu kooti z'amagye wuyo mutandise kati mukweka bye mukola tebiri mu mateeka bya kifulu babiyita batya kifula nnenge mutubuzaabuza muti mutuzunza buzunza ndowooza kyemwagala kumuleetera mu keesi naye ate nga tekyalibadde kituufu ekifo ky'okuwuliriza kyayogera temwalisibye musibe muwulirize ki kyayagala kubanga omwami oyo kuva dda ng'alwanirira eddembe ly'abantu mukiwulira avudde dda tukuze tumulaba tulaba alwanirira omuntu wa wansi so kyendi okusaba mwami Museveni ne banno bonna be mukolagana nabo mute omusajja kozi nga mwagala muleetera mu keesi. Today I was in my weekend because it starts on Friday, looking for votes for my people in Kawempe North. I heard that at the magistrate court, Dr. Kizza Besigye is going to be here, so I came because literally what they are doing is wrong, is out of the law. According to the laws that we have here, at first you took him to the Army court, now you brought him here without even what, you just bring him, then you put him here. You know, it is not allowed, it is not part of the law. I urge you, Mr. Museveni and all the colleagues, General Muhoozi, please release the old man unless you want to bring him in the coffin. And it will be so bad. You get that sense of humor. Mr. Museveni, the man you're treating like that is the man that treated you during the war. Let us make rational decision, not emotional decision. So I'm calling upon Mr. Museveni, the CDF and others, and all the ISO bosses, please release this gentleman. Give him a bail so that he can get treatment. Unless you want him to, you know, you want him to come here when he's in coffin. Thank you very much.
Yes, religious leaders. I think you've been following what's going on.
Yes.
What is your take? Because people have been waiting for your voices. You've been nowhere. Yes.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm Reverend Father Kizza Besigye Hajji from Kabale Diocese, from Obedi District. And I have come with other 4 clergy or clerics, and they are here with me. They can introduce themselves. We can begin with this one.
I'm Father Christopher Nwahiriza, known as Father Chitoma. What I want to say, I want to quote the words of one of the popes, St. John Paul II. He said, if the gospel does not address the situation of the people, it does not answer their problem, it is irrelevant. It's high time for us, the church leaders, to wake up and become the voice of the voiceless. This is the mission of the church. And among the activities of the church is to do the pastoral ministry, to visit the sick and the prisoners. We came here after hearing the cry of Kizza Besigye and his members about the situation, which is not good. And if we don't speak as the church leaders, who is going to speak? We should not allow our flock to see them perishing, being condemned unjustly, and we just keep quiet. I'm not happy, and I have not been happy to see Kizza Besigye being driven in a wheelchair. He is very sick, and he cannot be allowed to access medical treatment. It's unfortunate for us, dear Ugandans. I implore, especially the church leaders, let's come together, raise our voice, and speak on behalf of our people. We are supposed to be the voice of the voiceless. If we don't speak, who is going to speak for us? We see our situation today in Uganda. Things are not going on well. The rule of the law, maybe it's not functioning. I implore the church leaders, dear brothers and sisters from all corners, we raise our voice and we fight for our people. Because at times, I don't know which message we do always give to the people. You have a congregation, but they are being mistreated. I implore the church leaders, please kindly, let's be the voice of the voiceless. It's our mission. We talk about the situation that's affecting our country today. Let the arms of government do its work. The parliament, the judiciary, the cabinet, and there must be separation of power to make sure that the government allows the judiciary to take its course, not interfere with the other organs of the government. Thank you so much.
Thank you. As I earlier said, we said that we have 4 priests. We came from Kabale, and the purpose was to see Dr. Kizza Besigye, and we pray for him for the quick release and the quick recovery, and also, of course, to comfort him in whatever is going. And then we see how we can also talk to maybe responsible people as the clerics, and we see how we can be released from the prison. I have my brother priest here, even we have our elder brother here who is here. I asked Father to introduce himself, and then our elder brother also to speak to you, and then he tells you his mind.
I'm Father Swa.
Father, you push in front.
I'm called Father Severino Karugaba. I hear from Kabale Diocese. When I heard the cry, because one of the things is justice delayed is justice denied. And if you are denied justice, and as we have our motto, for God and my country, so we need to pull together such that if we see a brother suffering, we sit down and see how to settle certain things and certain issues without fear or favor. So I came here because I have been hearing the cry. I had not seen him, but unfortunately I have seen him in a wheelchair and his health is deteriorating. It would be better we come together because we are all human beings. Let the medical section do its work. Then the law do its work. The church does its work. That's why, because we have to cater for our brothers, and our motto as a church is we have been anointed, and this anointment is to set free those who are being trampled on, not just keeping quiet and praying. Our prayer should be active to go with the works, as I have come to see, because I have been hearing. This is one way of witnessing and seeing how our brother together with others are being treated. So for me, my coming here and our coming here is to pray for each other and to practice justice. Let justice take its course so that we move together and we live together. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best, but above all, pray for our brother who is suffering. Thank you very much.
Briefly, I am Father Felix Muninga. We are the Bachiga. We are the Bachiga from Kabale. Yeah, we can speak.
It's true, you give us in language. Give us English.
Yeah, known Father Felix Muninga. Kandi naranyishe n'abagenzi banyu kuko kandi tsuge twamuha words of encouragement konga cyasasa muronga ukureba kutwamure nko kwari kandi atine n'ubugenge kujya cyabasa kwegandira baje kwiyabasa kwashoburaho kandi kuko kwese rabona iteka rya Uganda nari ngo umuntu yataka hozibwa ataka cyore g'umushango umuntu ugotaka abasa kutwaguruka nkozi yabibi kongo kula ngo kwese kuko kwese arashasha kuko kwese barambona bonesa ikimanyise ngo umushango bamazire kugushwa ada ninjango chirakana siteka ryihanga nabwo eco tindi kumanya iteka batero ryaci konka turi kwesera ko mu mugwaryo biri nitwenda ngo abantu ba Uganda tukwatanise ekintu kibi tukicene nke kibi kandi kirungi tukishagikire nke kintu kirungi abantu bariko kubugufuma baravunda abantu bakabasa kubafubira batinde rubanje umuntu yabaye rubanje tuba mu kika akahoresibwa rero kukamusinga bakamufubira konka kugumara baragumayo ibiro bitano ibiro mushanju kandi baranze umusheje no amagara mabi tukabasa kuba ngo utari kushasha tukabasa kujya ngutangwa ngo ahurire ngo arabasa kumara umwaka nenga kujya konka urare kuko kwese ihangarira twazibwa
Chief State Attorney in the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions and also the Public Relations Officer.
Your statement now. What you have to say?
We received the case file of retired Colonel Kizza Besigye on 11th of February this month, and we initiated prosecution-guided investigations with the police. So we have been having a team of prosecutors working together with investigators from the Criminal Investigations Department of the Uganda Police Force. So upon carrying out investigations into the matter, we had the file resubmitted to us.
Okay. You are at the point where you are telling us that you commenced.
I just continue.
Yes.
Or I start?
Yes.
Let me start afresh.
Okay.
So we received the case file of retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye and two other accused persons from the court-martial on the 11th of February of this year, and we commenced prosecution-guided investigations with the police. So we have had a team of prosecutors and investigators from the Criminal Investigations Department of the Uganda Police Force working together on the investigations in this matter. So the case file was resubmitted to the Director of Public Prosecutions for perusal, and we found sufficient evidence or substantial evidence to sustain the two charges against them. These are the charges of treason and misprision of treason. So these charges were sanctioned against them, and we had a production warrant issued for their production in court today for the charges to be read out and explained to them.
Okay. So, but there is concern from the Defense Council that actually the military courts have not transferred any files. what would be your response to that concern?
So like I've said, we received the file of retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye and these 2 other suspects. For now, I can confirm that that is the file that we have received.
And then
handled.
How many other files have you received? Because we know there were many cases that were before the military courts. People outside there would be waiting to hear whether also those national unity platform supporters, their files are among those that you have received.
For now, I can confirm receipt of only Dr. Kizza Besigye's, and that's the one that we've handled.
Okay. And then the charges that were before the military courts had to do with the illegal possession of firearms, treachery, but now here it appears to be different. Maybe what could be your explanation?
Well, on the basis of the investigations that we conducted with the police, these are the 2 charges that we found appropriate for them.
Maybe if you can tell us how far with the investigation and what you've already done with the investigation, that any time you bring evidence on board.
Well, our team communicated to the court that investigations are still continuing, so the case will continue to be mentioned until the investigations are completed, and thereafter we shall commit them to the High Court for trial.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Council, that do you want to do Nyankole?
Isimo kasi yawo. Isaac.